till I saw him sitting next to Delilah.
I always like this.
No, we've got two.
Breathe in the darkness, breathe in the light, breathe in the balance, it's all part of life. Breathe in the chaos, breathe in the calm, breathe in the beauty, the essence of your song. Be with it, be with it, be with it. Be here now. Be with it, be with it, be with it. Be here now, be here now. Be here now. Breathe in the sorrow, breathe in the grief, breathe, surrender, feel the sweet relief. Breathe in the unknown, breathe in the mystery, breathe in the infinite possibilities. Be with it, be with it, be with it. Be here now. Be with it, be with it, be with it. Be here now, be here now. Be here Be with it, be with it, be with it. Be here now, be here now.
Thank you, Sarah Christine. Very lovely, and it's just, I invite you all into the sweet surrender that that invitation was. And of course, thank you to our Unity Band in the backup. Welcome to the love and the light that's Unity of South Sound. My name is Barbara Baumel, and it is my joy to be here with you this morning. If you have any questions, concerns, or joys to share, you're always welcome to contact our office during business hours at 253-301 or email us at office@unityofsouthsound.org. We also invite you to put your cell phones on silence as we begin our service. I invite you to relax, center, just let go of whatever got you here, reconnect and center in the truth of who we are. Will you please join me in affirming our opening affirmation? There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotence. Our mission statement is, inspired by the divine as an inclusive spiritual community, we explore and express our highest potential. Our vision statement, present and centered in divine love, we co-create a peaceful and awakened world. And our core values, we are love, joy, abundance, and spirit guided. And now Reverend Megan will light our unity candle and give us an opening prayer.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to everyone online, too. I just feel the energy of the invitation to be here today. And that's what we want this experience to be, an invitation to experience the presence, not only within ourselves, but with each other. And so as we move into today's experience, I light the candle to remind us that it is the light that we are. And as we've been learning through our creative experience with the Creative Life book by Eric Butterworth, we begin with the light. We begin to see with the light. We center in the consciousness of God, and then we allow that energy to direct us forward. And so I'm going to use the prayer as the invitation to this experience each week in our Faith Action program. So I invite you just to close your eyes for a moment and to center into that place within you where you know and feel this prayer as truth. I open myself to the unconditional love and support of the universal presence of peace and oneness. I fully engage with my life and declare my willingness to be seen and celebrated just as I am. I am done playing small, and I dare to express myself authentically, courageously, and creatively. In doing so, I make an important contribution to the awakening of the planet. I am blessed, and I am a blessing, and so be it. Amen.
With that wonderful centering, I realized that I didn't introduce Sarah Christine properly. So before we go into our song, our communal song, I want to say that she is a visionary vocalist and songwriter who lives on Vashon Island, avid gardener, after my own soul here, a mother of 3, and just grateful to be here to share her music. She also has CDs here in the foyer, and if you want to check her out even further, she has a website, www.sarahchristine.com. sarahchristinemusic.com, thank you. So now I invite you, if you please, to stand, if you're able, to join with Reverend Megan in singing our congregational songs.
This is a new song. It's an easy chant by Karen Drucker. And so I'm going to start singing it, and then we're going to, and Amy, just so you know, we're adding a couple of repetitions for this. So we're going to sing it a couple of times and get going. At one point, we're going to clap, and then we're going to modulate it up, just to give you a heads up. So let's start. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world. Now got it? Let there be love, peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be love, peace. I am a stand for peace. I am the joy. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Up. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world. Now let's not modulate. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. We are making a new world now. We are making a new world now. Give yourself a hand.
And now's the time when we join together and we do a namaste greeting. If you're comfortable with elbow bumps, if you're with people that you know, you can hug them, but we're basically bowing and saying, I behold the divinity in you. Namaste. Namaste.
seated.
So as we've gathered for Faith in Action, we've had a parallel look at the chakra systems, our body's energy systems. And in becoming aware of the throat chakra, we grow into a more conscious awareness of why we do what we do, our intentions. And we realize our intuitive our revelations, and we accept them naturally, and we act on them. So I'd like to share a short poem by David White that speaks to this in a very lovely way. And it's called Just Beyond Yourself. Just beyond yourself, it's where you need to be. Half a step into the self-forgetting, and the rest restored by what you'll meet. There's a road that's always beckoning. When you see the two sides of it closing together at that far horizon and in the deep foundations of your own heart at exactly the same time, that's how you'll know it's the road you have to follow. That's how you know it's where you have to go. That's how you know you have to go. That's how you'll know. Just beyond yourself, it's where you need to be.
Rejection, yeah, it hurts, and it stings right deep down into the core. But it's not enough make me quit, 'cause my passion is a hunger, and I want more. Oh, I don't care what they say, they can't take this away, for this song lives within my soul. I'm determined to fly, I'm gonna touch the sky. Watch me fly. I will rise, even if I fall. I won't stop, I won't stop, I won't stop. Even when I feel small, I will bend. I will bend, but I will never, never, never break. I will do. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. I'm learning to ignore the voices that tell me that I cannot do anything. Learning instead to listen to the sound, the sound of my own heart.
Wow. Thank you, Sarah Christine. You are a beautiful demonstration of the creative flow of creativity through you. It just touched our souls. Thank you. And I have to follow it. But you put us in the flow, and I just, I want to bring to your attention the creativity that is demonstrated here. As we're seeing the progression of the creative process, of the flow of that infinite mind that is calling to us to express in ways that we have not yet seen. And as we begin to tap into it, we begin to see the flow and the harmony. And Trinda, this is her new painting for today, and I just love the circling and the spiraling of the clouds and the energy that you're feeling as we begin to manifest form. So, just to shift the energy a little, I have a story to share. A mother took her young daughter to a psychiatrist and explained to the doctor that her daughter thought she was a chicken. The doctor soothed her, observing that an overactive imagination is not uncommon in children, and asked, well, how long has your daughter suffered from this delusion? Almost 2 years, said the mother. Your daughter has imagined she's a chicken for nearly 2 years, and you just brought her in to see me now? Well, the woman looked a little embarrassed and then confessed, well, we needed the eggs, doctor. So the point, imagination is really powerful. So how are you using yours? Because we can manifest things that we never conceived were possible yet. So this week, as we step into the third key of our inner genius within the creative process as taught by Eric Butterworth, a very beloved Unity minister, in the 20th book that he published, The Creative Life, this book that we're using as our current study for our Faith in Action fall series, and I hope that you're really inspired from his amazing teaching and really helping us to shift to a new understanding of the creative process that's not in the intellect, but in the intuitive heart. Eric compares the biblical 7 days of creation, which we have intellectualized, we have taken literally in some ways, and thought of it sometimes maybe as just a fun story. But he compares it to the creative process of life, where he draws a parallel between the first emergence of light from the darkness that we begin to see there, and our own emergence into a more creative and useful life, a more meaningful life, a more demonstrative and abundant life, and how it actually awakens our inner creative genius, the one that we may not have realized we actually have, thus manifesting an abundant reality. And who doesn't want that? But we have to understand what an abundant reality really is. And we'll be experiencing that every week as we move deeper into this process. So this is your Bible for this fall. I just want you to see it that way. This third key refers to the Genesis story when God said, and we've all heard it, right? Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together in one place, and let the dry land appear. What does that mean? Metaphysically, we can say, let there be the formative power of imagination, and that is our talk title for today. The stage that begins to birth form within the chamber of our mind. Begins to birth form. I call it living into life stage. We literally live into our experience. That's when creativity is unleashed. It's powerful. There's a spiritual story from an unknown source called Destiny. I shared it in my book, Unraveling Grief, because no matter what happens in life, I believe that we can realize that we have the power to create a legacy and move forward to make a difference. And the story is about, during a momentous battle, a Japanese general decided to attack even though his army was greatly outnumbered. He was confident that they would win, but his men were filled with doubt. We've been there, right? Filled with doubt. And on the way to the battle, they stopped at a religious shrine, and after praying with the men, the general took out a coin and said, I shall now toss the coin. If it's heads, we shall win. If it's tails, we shall lose. Destiny will now be revealed. Can you imagine the anticipation and the anxiety that that statement generated? So he threw the coin in the air, watched intently, excuse me, as it landed, and it was heads. So the soldiers were overjoyed and filled with confidence that they would then vigorously attack the enemy, and they were victorious. After the battle, a lieutenant remarked to the general, no one can change destiny. Quite right, the general said, as he showed the lieutenant the coin, which had heads on both sides. So that story is an analogy of the power of faith, igniting the power of imagination into reality. Because when we direct our faith centered in the consciousness of Godness that we are, and we project an image of possibility, anything can happen no matter what the outer appearances are. The power of the mind to conceive, believe, and achieve, you've heard that. Because they rhyme, we can remember it, right? Because we conceive, we believe, and achieve, even in the midst of formidable circumstances. We cause destiny through the own innate power of creation within us. This is the genius of the creative process of all beings. It's a genius that we have inherently within us. So to step into this third stage of creation, Butterworth reminds us that we must get ourselves recentered in the awareness of the oneness with God. To see ourselves as, in the words of Emerson, an inlet that may become an outlet to all there is in God mind. An inlet that may become an outlet, depending on the energy and the focus and the direction we give it. Because we are literally a point of consciousness in infinite mind. Within infinite mind. Our mind, consciousness, is within infinite mind. Another name for God, the vibrational energy that creates. Because remember, God is not something outside of ourselves. It's the creative energy that activates and animates us. So we live in infinite mind, just as and Butterworth shared this, it's like every great seer or prophet of all times, they weren't better than us, they weren't more enlightened than us. They lived in infinite mind just as we do. And yet most of us live unconscious to our own source. So it's time to awaken and to understand how we can shift into living with it as co-creators and understand the creative genius that we are. Infinite mind is not the same as our brain. Our brain is an organ just like any other organ that serves a purpose. Our brain processes knowledge and information, but it is not the source of our potential, and it has no power on its own. I bet we didn't know that. It has no power on its own. It's an instrument of divine mind. It is used by our divine mind. And as Butterworth states, even, well, he stated that, but even Albert Einstein agreed imagination is more important than knowledge. So all the book learning in the world does not guarantee creative abundant outcome unless we are then bringing it into the infinite mind of creation. So this chapter reminds us that once you have the faith that revelation is a quality of divine mind that already exists in you and everyone around you, you have made the switch from intellectual perception to intuitive perception. We shift from thinking everything is about the activity of the brain, of knowledge, into the intuitive heart, into the awareness of the creative genius within us. An infinite potential of unfoldment that works from within you like a fountain. It's a continuous flow of ideas and potential and insight, and it does not generate from outside of us, but from within us. The outside can stimulate an idea from within, but it is not the source of our power or our potential. Butterworth says there is an intuitive mind flowing through you. An intuitive mind flowing through you. Do you feel it? And that your life will become fully functioning only as you confidently work with and trust the process. Your life will become fully functioning only as you confidently work with and trust the process. We might accidentally stumble into it and go, wow, what just happened? But when we do it intentionally, that's what the creative genius. This is really important. So it's asking us to live out of our comfort zone, to choose to do that, and to be willing to change prior assumptions as we live in the consciousness of infinite mind. Because if we stay in prior assumptions, we are limiting ourselves from the potential of something new and greater and better and more abundant. So on the third day of creation, when it says, let the dry land appear, it really is saying that the dry land is the mental image of formed thoughts. The mental image of formed thoughts, the ability to see what can be. To see from within. That's why we start with seeing with our light. We get familiar with being the light, as opposed to what is already in the physical. We don't look to see, oh, that's the possibility out there. That's limiting. Because there's always something beyond what has been experienced yet. Even you might be able to lay eggs, who knows? So, you know, the power to see what might be is one of the chief traits of a creative genius. The creative genius that we are. Does that excite you? Yes? Yes. Okay. I'm going to do a little happy dance inside there. So what does Butterworth define? He defines this as the process he calls, and I know if you've been looking at your study guide, you go, was that a misspelling? I-amaging. I, capital A, capital M, amaging process, about releasing all that we are from within ourselves, so that from that swirling water of potential, that was the second day of the waters appear and there's this swirling energy, but there's no land yet. But seeing the dry land, the images while the waters are still gathered together, we see it before it appears. That's the key. It's igniting a powerful creativity from within. And we begin to see from an image then. We see from it, not the image itself, but as something new, something creative, something empowering that's just yours, that is you, not a copycat, not a reprint or duplicate of something else. But we take it to our own personal expression that makes it unique and more powerful and meaningful because it adds and enhances to the world around us. This is a very important concept to grasp. The thing is that we're living into life from the infinite mind of potential and forming it from the inside out. To really begin to feel it as it's emerging. It begins to become real, comfortable, familiar, before we even see the outward appearances. I'm going to see that PowerPoint slide. Michelangelo was quoted to have said, "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." I saw the angel in the marble and I carved until I set him free. He saw the creative perception in his mind and he let it guide him into I-amaging the statue into existence. From the inside out, seeing it as if it already existed, and then it's just chipping away because you already know what it's going to be. Similar to what I shared in when I was talking about the first key to the creative process about the light, success begins with the end in mind. Or as Thomas Toward said, having seen and felt the end, you have willed the means to the realization of that end. See, projecting an image, we are willing it into life. And, you know, and it's always been said that what we hold in mind within infinite mind does not know the difference between that and the physical form that's already manifest. Because it is so real within us, it has to take some form. And again, this is when the faculty of faith comes into play, with the definition that Butterworth shared, which I really love, the clarity of that. He said, centering your consciousness in God, God's source, resonating with the frequency of divine energy. So we have to center ourselves in and then direct that energy. We're aligning with it. It's like what they did with the kids last week. You tune in to the frequency, and then it's got the clarity, and you bring that forth. So the third stage of imagination, it begins to bring an image forth from that energy. We align with the frequency and direct it into creative perception, I-amaging it into form. This is the creative genius in action. It is so powerful. And we must be diligent to not misuse this genius, though, because it will work with whatever it is we live into, whatever we direct our faith into. For we can just as powerfully I-amage worry, fear, doubt into our reality as a vivid picture in mind and be convinced that that's our truth, that that's our reality. And then what does that do? It throws us into hopeless depression because we think there's nothing else possible. Deeply feeling those thoughts into images in our mind can result in unhappy and unsuccessful realizations. And we've all probably tapped into that at some point or another, right? Causing them to be formed into existence when that's not really what we want, but we've been living into it. So remember, our thoughts are prayers and we are always praying. You heard that one? It's a song. Our thoughts are prayers and we are always praying. What are your thoughts? What are you directing that energy into? What are you saying? Oh, creative mind within me, please create this. Aligning our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, because those thoughts they trigger feelings and emotions, right? And images of what we want to experience, what we want to create or demonstrate, is key to living them into existence. Because when we're talking about prayer, true prayer, it's focusing on a solution, a desired result, or being receptive to the inner guidance to align with wholeness. The result we want, the truth of what the reality is. This or something better, because our minds sometimes cannot conceive of something beyond what we already know. Not fixating on a perceived problem and seeing that image in mind and then hoping for a different result. Because we'll just keep getting the same result, right? It's a very sad result when we're living and believing our experience is totally dependent on what happens to us. So that every time some condition changes, it has the power over how we think or how we feel or how we act and react to it. It is controlling our life experience. And I have to say, I've tapped into that, and I've seen it tragically in my sister Cameron, my middle sister. Every time something happened in her life that wasn't what she wanted or it triggered something deeply emotional within her, she went right down the slide of addiction so that she didn't have to deal with it or feel with it or recognize that she had a power within her that she could activate something different. And tragically, the pain of living in her hopelessness caused her to take her own life. November 22nd, 2020, not that long ago. The pain that I have felt knowing that she had the power to, I imagine, a different result, but it had to be the power that she chose and recognized within herself, has given me a vivid lesson in the importance of choosing to live from the power of my infinite mind, the consciousness of Godness within that can create an abundant life, to accept nothing less, than that supports and abundantly blesses me. To activate my creative genius in every aspect of living intentionally. When I see something is out of flow, out of balance, it's like, how do I activate that? Get back to seeing with my light and centering in the consciousness of the flow of directed faith. And begin to imagine and to live into, what do I want it to be, this or something better? When we begin to experience that, we recognize the power and we know we can go back to it. To live into our desires, to know that I accept nothing less than a positive and meaningful or transformational experience out of life. Eric said we can choose to not react to the outer appearances, but instead to respond from the inner flow of ideas, intuition, and guidance, to let our faith faculty come forth. That is faith, directed faith, intentionally focused. That's why we start with that before we get to beginning to formulate and conceive an image in our mind. That's intentional creation. And we have the ability to intentionally create our lives through what Jesus said in the book of Matthew, chapter 7. and I know you've heard this, ask and it will be given to you. Do you believe that one? Seek and you will find, knock, and it will be open to you. For whoever asks receives, whoever seeks finds, and to him who knocks the door is opened. What is the door? The door to infinite mind, to our infinite potential and our creative genius. The door is there, but we have to open it. We have to use our energy to access it. This third stage of the creative process can also be called illumination, as it is when the work done in the first two stages, as I keep repeating, because I want you to get this, seeing with our light, being immersed in it, seeing with the light, and centering our consciousness in Godness, when those come together, this is where we can then begin to visualize a more specific idea of the end result. It is the light bulb moment. You've all had those, right? Aha, now I see. Oh, yes. So obvious. Why didn't I notice before? It's that moment when a clear idea, conception, or perception of what we want to create begins to formulate as a blueprint into reality. And we move in that direction, and stage by stage, step by step, it starts to come into a beautiful manifestation. An empowered subconscious revelation of the right direction becomes evident because it's already there, we just weren't aware of it. So we bring it out into the open. We begin to easily chip away the marble to free the already perfect image contained within. So how can we intentionally create from within? What are some of the essential elements? First and foremost, we have to cast aside your limitations, any ingrained thinking, and that includes, and I want to apply all of this to this ministry, because as we're doing this collectively within our own lives, then we're coming together as a community, a spiritual community, collective in consciousness, to co-create and manifest a ministry of the future that serves everyone and becomes a beacon of light in our world around us. What do we need to create that has yet to be identified for a successful, thriving ministry? So I'm calling all of you into that as well. What limitations are ingrained in our thinking that are holding us back? And then we have to open ourselves up to possibility, to think big, beyond our current ideas, beyond what we currently know and experience and can count on. Do I have the courage to step out of that box? It's about stepping out of our comfort zone, right? Before you can walk on water, you have to get out of the boat. Or at least see if it might work. And that's the whole idea, is getting out of our comfort zone is so we can grow consciously, that we can grow spiritually, because if we don't grow, we die with our creative genius never realized, like my sister. It's tragic. And it's very important to also recognize the focus of our thoughts to become complaint free. To live without negative self-talk, negative thoughts, words, speaking gossip. I know we're a gossiping community. How easy is it to fall into that? Do we share what we know is true, or just because somebody said it and we don't even think about whether it's true or not? So we've got to let that one go. Let go of criticism, complaining, negativity of any kind, because it sabotages our creative genius. And it tunes your intention to that negative energy, and then ultimately creates that as our result. Is that what we want? So we have to be cognizant of that when we're sharing and collaborating within our ministry. What do we want to live into realization here? In closing, there's a couple of steps that I want to offer you. Every morning, create a practice of seeing the intention of your day. Like previewing it, seeing it, but really living into it. Feel it. Like imagine you're walking through it. Visualize your plan, the flow, the outcome as fulfilled just as you intended it to be. to be open to that or anything that improves the outcome. Because we want to be adaptable and flexible, right? Because again, we can only conceive what we know, but there may be something beyond that. So am I open to invoke all the senses into making it real? Because when we make it real within us, it's like it already happened. Then we can act as if it's happened. We know what it feels like already. We can be confident as we step into our day. And I want you to use our imagination affirmation for the week to align with your creative genius to co-create an abundant life reality, to break free. And we're going to share that in a minute. But one other thing we have an opportunity for you is to create an intentional affirmative prayer flag. And every week we're using our colors that are one of the chakras of that energy center within you to invoke an inspiration. And so all that you need, the materials are in Wesley Hall. And if you're at home, do this yourself. Get an old sheet, rip it up. It doesn't have to be the color of the week. You could dye it or you can just color it, but write something in the present tense that's affirmative, that you are imagining is coming to life for you. Or maybe you're doing it for this ministry. I really encourage you to create some affirmative prayer flags for this ministry so that we can feel that vibrational energy as we're moving into it and to really know it together. And so our affirmation for this week is through the power of imagination, I am free to experience my creative genius. Let's know that together. Through the power of imagination, I am free to experience my creative genius. I'll remember to put it on a PowerPoint slide next week. Heidi, will you take note of that? Let's say it again. Through the power of imagination, I am free to experience my creative genius. And I want to say this for our ministry too. So instead of I am, we say we are. Through the power of imagination, we are free to experience our creative genius. Do you believe it? Can you feel it? Is there a little activation going on here? It's about tapping into your creative genius by activating the power of your infinite mind that is waiting for you to open the door to it, right? To achieve whatever you can internally conceive and then celebrate your dry land. That manifestation that comes forth from within you. What is it going to look like? I cannot wait. Namaste. And so we're going to take a moment to experience that in meditation, to really feel that, that process activated within us. So put aside anything that you may be holding that's a distraction, to really just take a moment to breathe into that creative genius within you. And we'll let the singing bowl activate the vibration. You know this resonates with the heart chakra. So we're opening up our heart to hear, to listen, and to be present. Closing your outer eye if you have not already done so. We breathe in the vibration that opens the door to an infinite mind. Breathing in all that I am, and breathing out anything that limits or separates me from the light and the creative genius of my infinite self. I breathe into my heart as I experience my light. To simply just see this amazing ball of light that surrounds you, enfolds you, that breathes with you. To feel the activation of the light within you that opens you up to be centered in the consciousness of Godness. To really breathe into feeling that centeredness, where you become an open vessel, free of worry, fear, or doubt, but entirely receptive to the infinite potential within you, the swirling waters of life that are waiting to be directed into form. I feel empowered with my next breath. And I begin to imagine from the depths of my creative genius something that I would like to experience. I'm open to a new idea, perception, possibility, whether it be for myself or for this ministry, Unity of South Sound. I allow the potential to bubble up within me as I direct my faith into seeing the image, to feeling the image. As it takes form, I begin to resonate with it. How does it speak to you? What do you hear as a part of this image? As it becomes more clear, what are the colors you're seeing and the shapes and textures and dimension? What does it feel like? Immerse yourself into feeling this image into reality within you. Live in it. Does it have a taste? Just live into it. Feel the vibration of it as it takes form. And as this seed of I amaging is formulated within you, notice the blessing that it bestows upon you. Appreciate what it's offering you. And affirm, through the power of imagination, I am free to experience my creative genius of this or something better manifesting in and through and as me now. And I bring this awareness back into the physical presence, knowing it comes with me and it will continue to live through me. And we open our eyes, restored, blessed, and excited at what is coming forth from within me now. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Megan, for that invitation into the I am-aging, my creative flow, and being part of that, just that intuitive flow that we feel, that one unique, vulnerable, creative God source that flows through us that we allow. I just like, yeah. You're it. So right now we want to thank, shifting gears here, we want to thank all of you who may be joining us here in the sanctuary as well as online for the first time. And we thank you for sharing your consciousness with us, your love with us. And we also have a welcome packet if there are any people that are here for the first time today. Is there anybody new today? Okay. So if it's your second time and you've joined us, welcome back. And if you've been with us for a long time now, welcome home. And to all of our friends, we want to share this unity blessing. To our newcomers, our live streamers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity you are. At this time, we'd like to prepare for our love offering, and we invite Sarah Christine to prepare for her next song. This is the time in our service where we have the opportunity to share of our financial blessings in our community. And there are 4 easy ways to do this. You can visit our website, www.unityofsouthsound.org, and in the upper right-hand corner, for those of you who are opposite me, upper right-hand corner, there's a small orange button, and you can click on that and do an ongoing or one-time donation. You can call our office, 253-301-0385. You can mail to us at Unity of South Sound, 710 South Anderson Street, Tacoma, 98405. And if you're here in person, there's an offering plate at the back of the sanctuary on the table. So whichever way we make our tithes, I invite you to hold these love offerings in your heart or in your hands at this moment and affirm this together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am in perfect balance and flow with the universal tides of giving and receiving. Thank you, God.
These visions imagination reveal the path of my destiny. I am ready to receive the power of love is within me. Show me the way, open the door, teach me to trust more and more, 'cause I am ready to receive. What else is possible? What else can there be? These visions in my wild imagination reveal the path of my destiny. I am ready to receive. Power of love is within me. Show me the way, open the door, teach me to trust more and more, 'cause I am ready to receive. I am ready to receive. The power of love is in me. So show me the way, open the door, teach me to trust more and more, 'cause I am ready to receive.
There you go.
Oh, wow. Let's give it up again. Arnie, Cerny, Dave, Sarah Christine, thank you. Boy, you know, when God gets personal, we become God's thou, the I thou, and you're letting this, just letting it flow. So I hope you're all ready to receive. That's awesome. Woo! Okay, I have some announcements. It's time for announcements. And so we have a very special blessing to share with you this morning. We'd like to bless all the recipients of our August tithes. Unity of South Sound has a commitment to tithe 10% of our love offerings back out into the community to trusted organizations that help us build a world that works for everyone. We hold, let me see if I can, yes, here we are. We hold these tithes and love offerings in our hands and our hearts, and we affirm this together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am in perfect balance and flow with the universal tides of giving and receiving. Thank you, God. And we have a few announcements to highlight this morning. we would like you to know that you can keep up to date on all of the announcements about our Sunday services and events by going to unityofsouthsound.org to sign up for our newsletter, the e-blast. There is a newsletter sign-up button, and you can fill out your contact information and submit it. The info will be safe, and we don't share it with anyone. It's a secure site. Our intentional giving program, Unity of South Sound, is holding an intentional giving pledge drive now through November 20th. Our goal is to raise approximately $150,000 in pledges, which would bridge our financial gap for this year, as well as make us solvent for 2023. If you are blessed and inspired by this ministry and you'd like to invest in it or increase your current investment, please visit our e-blast for the pledge forms and mail or email them back to us. I still have that to do. Or you can pick one up on Sunday mornings for those of you who are here. We also emailed these forms to you through our e-blast service. Your pledge will make all the difference. We are so appreciative and grateful for you. We have an origami event next week, and it's part of our Faith in Action series. We're holding several of these upcoming events. So we are going to invite you to participate in folding origami geese for a project for week number 5. And we will meet in Wesley Hall after the service, where our very own Anita Landry will share her talents and coach us, and how to create some really cool folding moves to make these geese. And for those of you who'd like to be helpful to that process, if you have either an interest or experience in origami, Anita's going to be teaching me how to do this right after service I think in Wesley Hall today. So Creation Workshop. Please join us on Sunday, November 6th after the service for a workshop with Reverend Megan on being an intentional creative. This will be a playful and fun day of exploring creative expression within you as a path to a more abundant and creative life. Come and play with us November 6th. You'll be glad you did. There's a suggested free will love offering of $25 for this workshop. Finally, we will culminate a Faith in Action series program with our 50th anniversary celebration of Unity of South Sound on Sunday, November 20th, from 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And to tell you more about this event, I'd like to call Heidi Maloney up to the podium.
Hey, friends. I get the joy and honor of talking about a wicked party that's coming up. There is nothing more fun than a 50th anniversary celebration, my friends, and we get to experience that on November 20th. This promises to be the biggest party of the year, and we just confirmed last week that Rona Yellow Robe will be giving a mini concert during this event, so that is extra special. Come and join us to celebrate our past, present, and future. There is a sign-up sheet at the back table to save your place, as space is limited. Once the seats are gone, they're gone. In preparation for this awesome event, we ask you to submit your favorite memory about this sweet ministry, or maybe the reason why you continue to support us, or some other sweet experience that would just bring us all joy. We would also love pictures to accompany your shared memory. We are asking that all submissions be received by November 5th so that we can format these. Everyone who submits a memory will receive a copy of the event program, which will include a compilation of all of our stories. Stay tuned for more information as we get closer to this event, as we cannot wait to experience it with you. Thank you.
And next, I'd like to invite Ruth Rogers up to the podium. She is going to share with us a little about her week 2 experience in the Faith in Action series.
Hello. Good morning. So I have loved being in this particular group that I'm in for Faith in Action. And part of it, for those, the groups are closed now, but you can still do your family group. You can just do this with yourself, and it's so fun to share information. This particular week, we shared, the first question was, what are your favorite prayers, affirmations, recentering techniques? And everybody shared, right? Barb and I are in the same group. And this is how many notes I got of things I can do from that group. So there's always something fun. I just want to say, too, that the proof is in the pudding. So what I've noticed is lots of positive outcomes in my life that weren't there before we started this particular book. And I've studied this stuff forever, like most of you. So it's wonderful. We had a little situation in our family this week, Rick and I, where my two daughters got into a big and they're in their mid-30s, and normally I would have been sucked right into it, and I did so much better. And I just kept visualizing peace, if you will, and I'm ready to receive, as our singers shared. And lo and behold, everything's peaceful now. And I'm not even going to go into it because I don't want to mess with the outcome. But that's the beauty of this. You know, we come and we worship, we listen to Reverend Megan, we read the book, we get together with our group. Oh, and by the way, I just thought of this. Last week I did take our booklet, and I bought a book and gave it to one of the daughters. I don't know, maybe that's part of the healing as well. But anyway, so I just encourage you to get us in. That's the whole thing about faith in action. We do stuff. We listen, we study, we contemplate, we meditate, and we take action. So I can't wait to hear stories from next week. So thanks, everybody, and you all look beautiful in blue.
Yeah. And you know what? I can't resist but skirt on those coattails, because as a result of those affirmations, this week I ended up going to dinner last night, and it was Peter and I that were the ones that were, like, we went through CPE together, we were tight friends, and it was our spouses that arranged this. So I was asking about, okay, what next? What next? I went to dinner last night and ended up getting resources and ideas for where I'm going next. And I didn't, it was effortless. So I just want to say that when we put it out there and we connect and get in that divine flow, stuff happens. We are ready to receive. We allow that flow through us, and it's freaking awesome. So, couldn't help but share that. Now, at this time, we would like to welcome in our children. And parents, if you have your children up here, please come on up and take their hands.
Get it.
Yes, the camera.
All right, I get it. Thank you for reminding me of that. All right, so all these beautiful God lights up here. We're also talking about imagination and the power of imagination. And our practice in our study guide for the book is to write a journal or keep a diary entry, but think in the future. So writing as if it's already happened, writing your intention as if it's already happened. So they created diaries or journals with pictures from magazines of things they might intend or wish for or want, and then they can continue that practice and write in their diaries and journals. So they were in the same place as all of you, studying and talking about imagination and creating and intending the future. Also, our YOU are headed to camp next week. Thank you all so much for your financial support through the pancake breakfast and other fundraisers to help these beautiful children go to camp. We are so blessed by our congregation, so thank you so very much. And they'll be leaving on Friday and then returning on Sunday. So we'll be a smaller group next week, but yes.
So even though our YOUers are going to be gone at camp next weekend, oddly enough, we, South Sound, the YOU has been asked to lead a God walk on will. So we will still be on the same theme. What a coincidence.
Yes. Yep, there are no coincidences, yes.
And now we invite you to stand if you're able and to hold your hands high as we sing our peace song with Reverend Megan.
Oh, we have to bless the kids.
That's not on my script. Absolutely. Let's do this. We love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity you are.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous hope. To take each moment and live each moment peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And together, the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever God is, I am. And all is well. See you next week. Have a fabulous creative day.